So it was about a year ago, and at that time I was still working at my 9 to 6 at this coffee machine repairing company as an intern. Now, I remember at that time, right, my first task I had to do for the day was to check every single machine serial ID that was delivered to our office or the warehouse, right, to repair. So I remember I had to do that, and the first thing I did was grab my AirPods, put it in my ear, and open Spotify to listen to podcasts, because I thought that it could be productive and kill my time now. And I remember that at that time I was obsessed with Hamza's podcast. So that day I happened to open his Spotify, the playlist, right? And he uploaded a new video called "Here's a Tactic That Will Help You Become Successful in 20 Minutes." Now, I thought it was going to be one of those videos where everybody just say the tactic, but Hamza copied, rephrase it in his own, like he actually made the tactic itself. But it wasn't. It was something new to me at that time. And it was planning out your day. Now, I remember after listening to the podcast and going back home to try it for myself, right? I don't know if I did it or not, but I know that it's been a couple of months since I already did it, about 6 to 9 months. So, even though I'm not a millionaire YouTuber like Hamza is, right, this tactic really helped me to become more organized with my own day, especially as someone who has poor time management, and especially as someone can always get distracted every 5 to 10 minutes. So if you're someone who struggles with either one of these, or you're both, right, then I want you to watch this video, because it might help you to become more organized like me. Alright. Okay, so the first one is plan your task. Please tahan, my handwriting is damn messy because I'm not using mouse. Alright, so ideally, right, you want to plan at least 3 to 5. Because I remember I read this book, Time Wise by Amanda something. It was in 2023. And she said in the book that when you plan more than 5 tasks, right, or 4, I think, you will get overwhelmed. Because you don't know how long you could spend doing each task. I know that all of us have roughly about 15, 16, 17 hours awake. But you see, you spend at least about few hours on your phone scrolling, then you need to spend a few hours eat, then I don't know, you might take some time on the toilet, pooping, showering, all of this, blah blah blah. So that's why Amanda said that, or was it the alternate? I can't remember. That's why she said that it's best if you plan your task roughly 3 to 5, so that you got more time to do. She said 4, but I say 3 to 5 because 3 is to me, it's like the bare minimum. And you want to make sure your task is important or relevant. Now, what I mean by is, because let's say you're a student, right, and you're also an athlete, right, and you're somebody who was on this path of bettering yourself, right, then you need to make sure that your task includes studying or doing a project or revising, then training or going to the gym or doing boxing, and then one more other relevant task. So that's why make sure it's important, make sure that the task will help you to become a better student or a better athlete. Okay? And the second one is plan your timetable. Now I know it sounds very, very basic lah, but the thing is that to me it's something new, like I said, and this really helped me. So what you want to do is that you want to make sure you are very specific with your planning. So it can be, for example, maybe you wake up at maybe 8 a.m, then 9 a.m. you do your morning routine, 10 a.m. you have your first meal, and 11 a.m. study. Study what? What do you exactly need to study? That's my question to you. So you need to answer, or maybe I will do chapter 7 of this topic, blah blah blah. And maybe let's say until all the way maybe 4 p.m. train, what do you need to do? Do you want to go and hit legs? Do you want to go for a run? Go to boxing class? All of this. Okay? Be specific. The more specific you are, right, you will have this feeling that, okay, I need to make sure that I do this and complete this. Then by the next day you will wake up, feel like, okay, I already know what I need to do. And the last one is actually just very simple, is planning your tasks plus planning your day. Now, you also need to make sure that you are planning roughly how long you're going to take to do all of these tasks. I would suggest that you plan roughly. You don't need to be very specific. As in, like, you don't need to be very specific, like, 8:35 to 11:35, chapter 7 plus 12. No, because you never know that you might need time to do breaks, to get up and poop, something like that, because you never know. If you plan too specific, as in like the timing, like 8:35 to 10:35, blah blah blah, 2 hours, right? It's gonna mess up with it's gonna make you feel like, why didn't I follow this timetable, blah blah blah, because you never know. Maybe you had a stomach pain, and then you because you had your breakfast before you study, and then because you're on the toilet from maybe 8:30, and then it's been more than 10 minutes, you're gonna feel like, come on, I need to be on schedule, blah blah blah. What I suggest you is, next time, just plan at buffer time. I'll give you a very good example. So on days where I had to go to my part-time job, right, and work at 7 in the morning, right, because I do opening, so I'll tell myself, okay, I will speed up my morning routine by maybe 40 minutes, okay? So I know I will wake up 5:20, then I will give myself some extra time to commute to work, because you never know whether the bus is going to be late, or you just happen to be unlucky that the train broke down. And even though I plan myself 1 hour to commute to work, right, I actually end up taking about 45 minutes. Adding buffer time, right, will just help you to be ensuring that in case something bad happens, at least you have extra time. So what I'm trying to say is that maybe let's say, right, you know that you're very slow in preparing your morning routine. So you can say maybe 8 a.m. wake up. I'm just going to write. Then 8 to 9 a.m. morning routine. Then 9 to 10 a.m. breakfast. Because you also need to add time, you make the breakfast, eat, then wash the dishes, just clean up after you eat. That's why. Alright. So that's about it. I just want to let you know that if let's say you plan your day, I don't expect it to be 100% organized. Okay, you're gonna have some time where it's not going according to your order, and that's fine. But if you can follow at least 50% of what you plan, right, that's already good. Okay, I hope you learned something new, and keep pushing, my friend, and I'll see you next week.